Well, hi everybody. It's probably time to give you a bit of an update of what's been happening on Sailing Ocean Harmony since we arrived and left from Gijon. So, Gijon, Gijon. We turned up there at 2 p.m. on whatever day it was, Monday? Monday,
Yeah.
after our big stormy adventure. And basically we rocked into town. We were met by the marineras, as I said previously. The marina the marina is fantastic. It's nice and sheltered, and it's the staff are really accommodating.
It was $51 a night.
Yep.
51 euros, which compared to sort of marinas in Australia, it's
Is just nothing,
incredible.
really.
And, all the facilities, showers if you need them, electricity, water,
Clothes washing if you
clothes
needed
washing.
that.
Yep. So,
So
51 euros.
a little bit rougher than say Soldiers Point Marina, but had the basics, did everything we needed to do. We were able to obviously fill up the tanks with water, but also wash down the boat. And then we also filled up the tank with fuel. It was our cheapest fuel. Well, when I say it was our cheapest fuel so far, we've only had 2 lots of fuel, but the fuel was 162
€1 a litre for diesel, and that's pretty good for marina prices.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So we rocked into town. We had some lunch at a little cafe, went back to the boat, had a big long sleep, and then thought, oh crap, it's 11 o'clock at night. What are we going to do? There's no food around. But we headed off into town, and the town was hopping.
Yeah.
So Spanish people like to party late, and this was a Monday night. And so we managed to sit down and have burgers at a pretty nice Spanish burger bar at 11:30 at night.
That wouldn't happen in Nelson Bay.
But it was a little bit of a surprise for Rod because
I ordered a cheese and bacon burger, and I got the burger, and then what came next was a cheese sauce, which got poured over the burger, and then they give you bacon bits for the top. So that was a little bit of a shock. So I've never eaten a burger with knife and fork, but this one had to be that way. So.
And there was a lady at the next table who was having a good giggle, and she said to us that in some restaurants in Spain, you are given gloves because the burgers have sauces placed over the top of them, and so they give you gloves because it's so messy. So, but midnight having a meal in a restaurant that was actually full of other people was a little bit unusual.
But I guess it's part of the culture over here. It does get late at 10 o'clock at night. So therefore...
Gets dark.
Gets dark, sorry. Dark, yeah. It gets dark at 10 o'clock at night. So therefore that 2 hours at the end of the evening is your night time that we would have in Australia between 8 and 10.
Yep.
So I just think that everything works a little bit later.
So the following morning we got up and we went for a bit of a stroll around the town. We had a look at the mayoral place, and we'll show you some photos of these areas of town as we talk. But Gijon is it's a little coastal town that was basically, its primary industry was fishing, quite obviously. Out of the town itself, there's some very interesting archaeological sites. So you can go to a heritage park that traces the history of this particular part of Spain right back to the Neolithic period. And then there's also a Roman heritage park on another part of the township. Unfortunately, because we didn't have bikes and we didn't have a car, we couldn't get out to those sites. But we did content ourselves with the Roman baths that were in the middle of town. They're actually right beside the chapel of St. Peter, or San Pedro, as he's known here. So the baths, the remnants of the baths are underneath the ground, and the Christians then later on built the San Pedro church over the top of where the baths were. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that a bit later. But we had a wander around town.
Yep, we saw a Ferris wheel, and Jay said, "Oh, can I go on the Ferris wheel?" But when we
traipsed a long way out to it too.
Yeah, when we went and had a look at it, it actually looks like it hasn't run for many, many years. And I think that's part of... I think the town is a great stopover for us from Bay of Biscay, but it's kind of past its peak.
Yep.
A lot of the hotels and things like that there look like they haven't been well maintained. Sure enough, there was a lot of people in town because it is the summer holidays and it is a coastal destination. But I think that, it is looking a bit old.
Yeah, it didn't give off the vibe of a happy summer location. But that's also our perception, and it could just be that this is the way the town is. Gijon has roughly 277,000 people. So again, it's marginally smaller than Newcastle, but it gives off a different vibe altogether. However, we did do a big long walk around the town. It was a great walk. We went up onto the headland and we saw the battalions that had been built on the headland that were to protect the township, firstly from the English, and secondly during the Spanish Civil War. But they seem to be somewhat redundant. So the information that I could find out about the battalions basically said that, they were built, they weren't really used, and they kind of just are there. So I couldn't find out too much information about those. But then we headed off the following day to Ribadeo.
Yeah, that's right. But it was a great sail. It was our first real day that we put in a lot of hours of sailing rather than motoring. It was a bit of I'd call a jibe fest because we had the wind behind us, but the boat, we weren't game to put up the big asymmetrical spinnaker, the Jenica, because we're just not quite ready for that and weren't sure what the wind was going to do. So the boat doesn't like wind directly behind it, so basically we zigzagged up and down the coast. It's called jibing, and we sailed for most of the day until the wind dropped out.
Yep.
And then we had our first night at anchor at Ribadeo, and that was beautiful, nice and calm. It was a really small little bay. Reminded me a little bit of Fingal Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in fact, that up to about 9:30 of the night, there were still people swimming
Down
on the beach.
Yep.
So it was, and we were the only boat anchored, in Fingal Bay. So that was great. First night out on anchor, and that's probably what we're going to do mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next morning, once again, we took off nice and early. Jay doesn't like getting up, but I kind of drag her ass out of bed.
Yeah.
And
we do what we have to do.
We kind of we motored. On both trips, we've seen pods of dolphins and
lots of dolphins
bow riding. No orcas yet, but we are getting close to Orca Alley, so we are starting
to keep a bit of a watch out for the orcas.
So, and we'll talk about orcas probably in the next or so update, because that's where they're most likely to be. And where are we tonight?
We're in Cadedria. You did that deliberately. Cadedria. Cadedria, yeah. So basically, it's another little port. This little village or little township, it's a township of about 6,000 people. Lots of boats anchored in the little bay here. It's quite a pretty little place, but it's very full of Spanish holiday makers, and everybody out in the town square was out having food and drink and late nights out and just enjoying the summer sun. Lots of talk, lots of chatter, lots of laughter.
And lots of kids
kicking footballs.
I think they're all still excited about the big Euro win. But in terms of attire for teenagers, it's football jerseys. Absolutely.
Yep. It's absolutely mandatory for a young male particularly to wear a football shirt. There's no question about it. So I thought I'd also just let you know that we did a little bit of shopping. I wanted to give you a bit of a comparison. We haven't done a Jay's rundown of the essentials in a food basket yet, and I'll probably deal with that a bit later. But today we went to the grocery store. We picked up 2 bottles of wine. We picked up a wedge of Greek feta cheese, some turmeric, some plums, and a bottle of milk.
2 milks?
2 bottles of wine, 1 bottle of milk. So 1.5 litres of milk. and 2 bottles of wine, and the sum total was €11.
Yeah.
That's about $19 Australian.
15, 14.
Oh no, I worked it out today. I used
Your maths.
XE.
No,
I used
11,
XE.
11 divided by 0.6.
Anyway, so
Anyhow.
XE said it was $19. Anyway,
We'll let everyone.
I'll-
We'll put the real calculation on the screen for you.
so like $19 Australian for 2 bottles of wine, 1.5 litres of milk, a wedge of Greek feta cheese, some turmeric, and half a kilo of plums. I just wanted to let that sit out there for a little bit.
I think the bottles of wine were under €2 each.
One was €2.60, and the other one was €1.30. So
Incredible. That's the fact they don't put taxes
they
on.
don't have tax on it.
And it was the first time we took the dinghy out
Yes.
and left the boat on anchor. So that was another big one for us. You know, we felt comfortable enough here that we could lock up the boat, leave it on anchor, and hot
off
foot
into
it
town in
into
a
the
dinghy.
dinghy, which is the equivalent of our car.
But the flip side of that is that the tide's gone out.
Oh yeah, we dragged it up on the beach.
We might have said previously the tides in Europe are pretty significant. They go low to high. When we came into the area that we tied the dinghy up, it was sort of knee deep in water at the lowest point. When we came back to the dinghy, it was just a big mud flat everywhere.
And so we had to drag it.
And
it was a bit of an effort. It is a big, heavy engine.
Yeah.
So, yep.
So that was a bit of fun.
But other than that, we're settling in for the night. I'm going to have a very early start in the morning again. We're heading down to the end of the Spanish coast.
Yep.
I can't tell you where that is. We're not even sure which port we'll stop in, but we'll do 50 to 70 nautical miles. And then we'll probably move on to Vigo in Portugal the following day.
Yep.
And end our top part of Spain trip, and then down the Portuguese coast into the bottom part of Spain.
We were going to head off to A Coruña, but we kind of needed to stop earlier in the evening, so that's why we're here at Caderia, and as a result of that we probably won't get into A Coruña, which means that everything else is going to get pushed out just a little bit more. One thing you didn't mention that you said you were going to mention.
There's still plenty of tuna.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, what you were going to mention was what you were watching on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yes. While
I shouldn't even bring this up.
I know. What a big day it
But
was.
I have to say that Rod had his computer laptop set up so that he could watch State of Origin. He's steering the boat, watching State of Origin. I'm watching State of Origin and reading a book at the same time because, you know, I can multitask as well.
Go the Blues.
I have to say it wasn't a particularly great day for me, but Rod was absolutely beside himself. He had a fabulous day.
I was dancing around all afternoon.
Yeah, and then of course, you know, you might have seen his video of Rod in his hot potato shirt, which he's put on again now, dancing around. This is how it should be.
No, this is Sail Away.
This was Sail Away, but
Yep.
This is how it should be.
Yes, yeah.
So sailing away, we will speak to you in a day or so's time. And good luck to everyone. Talk to you soon.